I'm going to bet you want to make sure that this coming year is the most successful year you've ever had in your business. Hey, badass business owners, my name is Tammy, and I'm here to help you grow your business, but more importantly, put more profit in your pocket. And as we close out this year, it's really important that you start taking the time now to set up what you want to happen in your business in this coming year. Now, it's really important that you still finish this year strong. I still want it to be the best December you've ever had in your business. Even if it's one of your slowest months, you can still beat last year's numbers. And I want you to stay focused on that and go really strong. But there's some exercises that you need to be doing right now to make sure that you're setting up next year to be as successful as it possibly can be. Now, some of your goals are going to be centered around the entire year, what you want to accomplish in the year. But I also want you to chunk that down into quarters. So first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Because a lot of times if you take on way too much, the odds are you're not going to get any of it done. How many times have you gone in with a New Year's resolution or some big goal? You do really great for January and February, and then it takes off, and then you kind of give up halfway through the year. And then by the time you get to the end of the year, you're so disappointed in yourself because you didn't do any of the stuff that you promised yourself you would do. So we're not going to do that. We're not going to set you up for failure. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, hey, we're going to look at some goals that should be annual goals, but then we're going to talk about how you can take those things and turn them into quarterly goals. So this way you can have the most success. We also want to make sure that for January, February, March, that you are coming out the chute really strong, because a lot of times it's slower for a lot of people before it takes off. But I want these to be the best January, February, and March you've ever had in your business. And the way you do that is by having a goal from day one, that you have a plan of what you're going to do, what you're going to do to drive your sales, what you're going to do to drive your profits, the things you're going to work on to be able to set yourself up for the most success as you go into your season, whatever the case may be. And it all starts right now. A mistake a lot of people make is they wait until January before they start putting in place the things they need to, and then you're already behind the eight ball. So if you don't start your planning until January, you might as well have just write off January because you didn't do anything to help make sure January was really strong. And that's what we're going to be doing right now. So I'm going to talk about a couple of areas that you want to look at, but I really encourage you to take a piece of paper, a notepad, use your phone, do a voice recording, type up a note to yourself, an email to yourself, whatever it's going to be. But I want you to think of about 5 to 6 things that you really have on your agenda to accomplish, whether it's an annual goal or for the first quarter of what you want to get accomplished. So what might be some of those things that you should be looking at? Well, first and foremost, you need to have a sales goal. What do you plan to do in your business for sales for the upcoming year? So in 2024, my business will do X amount of money. What does that look like? What is that amount? And for some of you, you don't even know what you're going to finish this year with. So how on earth are you taking a stab at what you're going to be doing next year? And we're going to talk about your business numbers a little bit more, but it is a challenge that some people have is they're like, well, I don't even know what to set as a realistic goal. I want you to have a stretch goal, something that's going to push you, but at the same time, it's very doable. But once you make that annual goal up, so let's just say you did $50,000 in sales this year, then I want you to set that goal saying, hey, I'm going to do 20% more. I'm going to do an extra $10,000. So I'm going to do $60,000 next year. You know, give yourself a percentage to shoot for. Most people can do 10, 15, even 20% more sales, depending upon how great they were running the business this past year. So if you were doing a crappy job, then it's easy to get a bigger percentage than if you've got a well-oiled machine and now you're like, how can I get 10% more out of the business versus an easy 20, 25, or even double my business in some cases. So you want to come up with an annual goal, but I want you to break that down by month. I want you to look at your sales last year and then say, okay, I did this amount in January, this amount in February, March, April, May, and then give yourself a target above each one of those. So 10% in January, a lower month, is going to look very different than 10% on June, which might be a stronger month for you, or vice versa. So make sure you have an annual goal, but I want you to really sit down using your numbers and come up with a plan by month. What is it that you plan to do in sales? I also want you to do the exact same thing on your profits, because you should have an idea of what profit you made every single month. And you want to say, hey, I plan to grow my profits by 25%. So my sales might grow by 10%, but I want my profits to go by 25% because some of my expenses aren't going to grow with more sales. And I know I was inefficient, and I know I wasn't priced right, and I know I wasn't this, so I can make more profit. What does that look like by month as well? I really challenge you to do that. At minimum, you want it for the year, but I really challenge you to start diving into those numbers and really understanding what it is that you do every single month. So this way you can set really good plans. And we're going to talk a lot about this over the next few episodes and videos that we do, because we're going to start diving into 8 steps to help you grow your business. And one of the things we're going to really talk about is you getting a grasp of your business numbers. So you're not going to want to miss that. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you get those videos when they come out. So far you're setting goals for your sales yearly and monthly, and also for your profits monthly as well as annually. So what other type of goals should you be having? Well, you want to look at a few different areas. One, what are some areas of your business that were just so broken that they cost you so much sales last year? For example, you might have had terrible scheduling and you found yourself running all over the place, and you're like, I need to put in place a better scheduling of how I schedule these jobs. Or it might be that I know I'm being stretched with getting the work done and having time to work on my business. I need to hire somebody that can take over the phones or do that piece for me. So this way it frees up more of my time so that I can do these other things. Where is a broken process? Are you running back and forth over to Home Depot left and right because you just don't have all the tools and things that you need? Or are you waiting to the last minute to get stuff and you're costing yourself sales? Or maybe you're running out of stuff. Your ordering process is screwed up because you're always running out of stuff before you can even find out how much you could sell. That's something we don't talk enough about on this channel, is sometimes people control their sales because they just never have enough product, or they have too much of the wrong product and not enough of the right product. It might be a marketing situation that you're like, wow, I really need to look at my marketing and I need to do X, Y, or Z. So what are some processes in your business that you just know if you fix them, you would create more sales for yourself, you'd free up more time, you'd make more profit? All kinds of stuff like that. And I already mentioned marketing. Marketing needs to be one of those goals. What does your marketing plan look like next year? It's one of the largest items on our expenses that a lot of people don't even have a plan as to what they're going to do with those marketing dollars or how much they're going to get out of it. If you're going to spend $10,000 on marketing, you better have a goal as to how much you plan to get in return from that. It's not spend $10,000 and get $10,000 in sales. You're at a loss when you do that because you have all your other costs that have to come out of every sale that you do. And when you only put the same match dollars, it just doesn't work. If you have a 20% return on your money, and you have a 20% bottom line, then you got to do 5 times as much as what you put into it. So if you put in 10, you got to get 50,000 in sales just to break even. That's not even to make more money. We have a bunch of videos where I go over all these numbers. Don't worry about it. But once again, I want you thinking 2024. What are my goals? What am I going to get accomplished? For some of you, it might be that you're going to pivot your business. You're doing so many things and so many different things, and you realize you cannot grow because you're not laser focused on one or two things. And you're going to go, hey, I used to do A, B, and C, but now I'm just going to focus on A. And this is where I'm going to really grow my business. For other people, it might be the opposite. They've got tons of business and they're looking for some add-on items. And they're like, man, I'm going to introduce this into my mix because now I'm going to offer this as an add-on. I'm already on their roof fixing it. I could do a quick gutter clean out while I'm up here, whatever it is. Something that you can do in the coming year that's going to help you grow those sales, grow those profits. But at the same time, are you pivoting in your business? Are you doing way too much? I used an example the other day. Somebody might be a dog walker, and then they might be, then they started picking up dog poop, and then they started babysitting dogs, and then they started doing this for making dog biscuits or whatever. And whatever the case may be, they never become a specialist at something, and people don't even know what to call them for because they do a little bit of everything. Had that person just focused on one thing and grown their business in that one area, they probably would be doing a heck of a lot more business because they're laser focused on part of the business that they can really become known for. So that might be something that you're making a change for in the coming year. Think about your team. If you have one person who works for you, or you have some independent contractors, or you have some employees, it might be one person, it might be 10, it might be 20. whatever it is, how can you make your team better? What is your commitment to your team in this coming year? Is there something that you need to change, to tweak? Are you going to start getting them more involved in things? How are you going to increase their value? They're going to want more money, right? You're going to want to give them more money. So where does that money come from? Do you have a plan for that? How are you going to get them to improve and get better so that they can get more money? I always say pay everybody what they're worth and keep giving them more money, but you got to keep giving them more responsibility, more accountability. And you should be able to do that. Maybe you realize you've hired really poorly for the past year. How are you going to have better hires for the coming year? Maybe you hired too late and now you're thinking to yourself, hey, I'm going to start doing this because I don't want to be behind the 8 ball when I hire people. So that might be one of your goals for 2024. What are you going to do better to make sure that you have a better team in place? Now, another one that you really need to make sure that you're looking at is leadership. And when I say leadership, I don't just mean you as a leader of people, you as the leader of your business. Okay. How are you going to become a better CEO of your business? What kind of skills do you need to work on to be better at it for leading your business into the new year? You need to have a goal set up around that. Are you going to try to read more books and try to understand them? Are you going to take some courses? Are you going to learn how to understand your business numbers better? Are you finally going to make the call that you're going to do whatever that's going to help you be a better business owner? It could be that you're going to go study some other people that have the same type of business that you do. Whatever the case may be, make sure one of your goals is how you personally are going to grow and become a better business owner. Maybe you're going to get a coach. Maybe you're going to start finding a mentor that's another local business person who's really strong at what it is that they do. And you're going to try to sit down with them once a quarter and just brainstorm, whatever the case may be. How are you going to become a better leader? That is something that you need to make sure that you have a clear goal for in this coming year. Now, you've heard me talk about a couple of times business numbers, and this is a huge one, people. I have people that reach out to me that do not track their numbers at all. They don't have a P&L. They don't use a bookkeeping system. They just, they do a sale, they pay the bills, they pocket the money, and they can't grow their business because they don't even know where their business is at. They don't know anything. They just know that, hey, I do a good job because I've got a good solid business. It pays my bills. But it's not really a business. It's a job that you've created for yourself. Are you going to make the point that you're going to get a bookkeeping system and you're going to make sure that you're looking at those numbers? Or maybe you have a bookkeeping system, but you haven't looked at your P&Ls in forever. I talk to people all the time that are in that situation where the first time they call me, we have their bookkeeping person, or they go into their bookkeeping system and they pull up the P&L, and for the first time they're looking at it and they're realizing the type of money that they're making or they're not making in some cases. Is that a step that you're going to make, that you're going to really understand how to read a P&L, and you're going to commit to knowing what those numbers are? I've got other people that, they've been introduced into the P&L and they've got that first step done, but now they want to look at that P&L every single month and start making insightful decisions on their business so that way they can make more sales and they can make more profit. And they're making a commitment that every week they're going to sit down and they're going to be looking at this P&L and they're going to look at where their money's going. Same thing with pricing, because once you start diving into your business numbers, your pricing looks completely different. So many people kind of just go, okay, well, my costs are $50. I'm going to double that and I'm going to sell it for $100, but they have no idea if that's the right decision to make or not, because they're not even taking into consideration their expenses. Because once again, they don't even look at their operational numbers or anything like that. Your pricing altogether, is it the right pricing? Is it the wrong pricing? Should you be changing your prices for 2024? You need to make sure you're diving into that, because now's the time for you to go through and figure out what your 2024 prices should be so that you can start communicating that. And what does that look like and how are you going to roll it out? Are you just going to flip the switch and just raise the prices? Are you going to send out a notice to let all your clients know that you're going to change them at the beginning of the year? Are you going to have a grandfathered group of people? Are you going to have a fresh new people? What does that pricing change look like for the coming year? Are you going to look at them every 6 months to determine if they're the right pricing or they're the wrong pricing? You kind of get the point. We're looking at all these different areas of your business, and I could go on and on and on, but I really want to challenge you to make sure that you're sitting down and you're saying, hey, what are my core things for growing my business? What are the things that I just know I need to do? If you were to sit down with a coach, what would you even ask that coach to work with you on? Where do you feel are your weaknesses? For some people, when they call up, for example, when they call me up and we want to start coaching, they don't even know where to start because they don't even know where they're at. And they're like, hey, I need help even knowing if what I'm doing today is the right thing or the wrong thing. I've just been flying by the seat of my pants. And in some cases, we have to sit there and we have to try to figure out where they are today before we can figure out the direction where they need to go. Things like that. So, there's so many different things that you can be looking at. I want you to just focus on 3 to 5 things that you can commit with today that you're going to do. Because if you just work on those 3 to 5 things, I promise you, your business is going to be better next year than it is this year. So not counting those 3 to 5 things, you need to have a sales goal. You need to have a sales goals by month. You need to have a profit goal, and you need to have that by month. And then you need to have these 3 to 5 things that you're going to work on, that you just know that if you work on those 3 to 5 things, your business is going to get better. It's knowing those business numbers better. Dive into those business numbers on a regular basis. You're going to work on this particular thing about your leadership and how you're going to become a better business owner. And this is what you're going to commit to become a better business owner. This is what you're going to do to have a better team, or this is what you're going to do to have better control over your inventory, or this is what you're going to do to have better marketing when it comes to that, or processes that are broken and how you're going to communicate with your customers, whatever the case may be. Right now is the time for you to do it. Right now it's ideal because it's December and we're getting ready for next year. But if you're watching this in July, right now is still the best time for you to do that. Because if you haven't been doing it, you've got to do something. And it's really important that you always keep in mind that you have to have these goals. And that's one of the reasons why I like the 12-week month. The 12-week year is what it's called. There's actually a link to the book in the show notes. But in which case, instead of trying to spread things out over an entire year, what you're doing is you're taking some of those goals and you're making them more of quarterly goals, because we can stay focused on that. If we get off of our goals, we go hot and heavy in January and February, and then we kind of start falling off our goals. And then for the rest of the year, we kind of like don't even look at them. And then we get all sad and bummed out in October, November because we didn't do anything with those goals. What the 12-week year does is it really focuses you to get that done in that 12 weeks. And you have a new 12 weeks every 12 weeks, right? Which is why it's called the 12-week year. Really great book. If you're really interested, I definitely highly recommend. Once again, it's in the show notes. Check that out. But ultimately, what my main mission today is for you to say, how am I going to finish this year strong? But more importantly, what do I need to do right now in setting my goals and my plans for 2024? Because I want you to hit the floor running on January 1st. I don't want you to have to go, okay, it's 2024. What am I going to do now? No, I want you running and gunning from day one of January 1st, 2024. All right. Just hit that floor running. And what is it that you're going to get accomplished? What are you going to get done? And that takes you sitting down now and figuring out what are those plans. But once you write them down, you also need to figure out how you're going to do them and what are you going to do? What steps are you going to take? How make them actionable? Because remember, goals are just goals. They don't mean squat until you take action. Once you take action, you have results. So it's goal, action, results. So it's really important that you have all of that together. And I've got some really exciting things coming up for you that I'm trying to work on my end to help you grow your business as well. So like I said, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any of the fun things that I've got coming up. We're going to have a great series coming up here real soon on helping you get to $100,000 in money that you personally make in your business, as well as a few other things and knowing those business numbers better. So hit subscribe, watch these videos coming up over here, and I will check you out on the next episode. And let's keep growing your business, all right? So get those goals written. I'll talk to you on the next one. Bye for now.